Let's now talk about what non-current assets are. So any asset that's gonna bring you the benefit for more than 12 months will be regarded under the non-current asset category. Okay, so I have few examples here set up for non-current assets that includes the land, the building, vehicles, plants, equipments, fittings, and furniture. Right. So one of the attributes of non-current assets, or one of the features of non-current asset, is is that we have to give a big value when we want to purchase a non-current asset, right? So for example, you want to buy a land, you'll have to go out and pay a lot of money against the land, and then you will own it, and that land will provide you the benefits for more than a year, definitely, right? So, and one of the things about the land is it always appreciates, it always increases in value. So the term or the phenomenon of depreciation doesn't work on the land. Okay. So wherever we are going to talk about the non-current asset, we are going to talk about the depreciation phenomenon with it as well. Why? Because everything that we have or we possess or we own right now is wearing and tearing every day. Okay, so in accounting we actually have to record that wear and tear of the possessions of the expensive possessions that we own, that we have in the company. So we have to actually record that, and to record, and the recording of that wear and tear of the possessions is called as depreciation. Okay. So the point is, wherever we are going to talk about the non-current asset, we are going to talk about the depreciation. Okay. So the first example is the land. For example, you have the land, you have purchased a land to build an office on that land so that your employees can come and work and help the company run, of course, because without people the business cannot run. Okay, the business cannot be operational without people running it. Okay, so where would those people sit? Okay, you have to create an office for that, give them the conditions and the environment where they can work and make the business successful. Okay, so we bought a land, we created a building, we built a building on that land. So that building also has become my non-current asset, because I'm going to use that building, or I'm going to use the benefits of that building for more than 12 months, because the building and the land and all these things last longer, and we are going to take the benefit for a good long period of time. Okay, so then comes my vehicles. The business might own vehicles as well, and vehicles give you the benefit for more than a year. Like if you buy a vehicle, you can use it for almost all your life, or maybe like 10 years, maybe like 5 years. So that's actually more than a year. So that's how they fall under the non-current asset category. And then comes the plants and equipments, because I'm running a manufacturing industry, because I have a candy business. I'm making candies. So I have to have the plants and equipments and machines and all those things to process my ingredients to make the finished product, which is my candy. Okay. So the ingredients that I have sitting in the warehouse comes under the current asset, which is my inventory. And then they have to get into those machines to become a final product, because I have to melt the cocoa beans to become the chocolate, and then I have to make the caramel on bigger volumes, on bigger levels. So I have to have the big machines for that. So all those machines comes under the non-current assets. Okay, so that can be plant or any equipment or whatever I'm using to process my ingredients to make it a final product and then sell it in the market. Okay, so I'm going to take the benefit of those big plants and equipments and machines for more than a year, definitely. And then comes my fittings and furnitures. Fittings include the curtains, the rugs, all those things that we have in our office, or the factory, or the organization, wherever. So if you're using any fittings, or if we are, and definitely we will have a furniture as well, where the employees would be sitting. We'll be having a tables, the chairs, and the cabinets and all those things comes under furniture. So I'm going to take benefit out of those for more than a year, and those are expensive as well. So that's all about the non-current assets, and I already talked about the current assets. So I believe there is no there is no misconception or confusion left about what asset is. Okay, so I've actually made it very simple for you to understand. And the last thing we're going to talk about, how are we going to treat our assets in the books of financial statements. So the increase in asset, either a current asset or either a non-current asset, the increase in asset is gonna be debit. Okay, debit is nothing. Debit is just the notion I told you already. So we are going to show the increase in asset as debit. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so and the decrease in asset, we are going to show it as a credit. So if I say my accounts receivable have been reduced, so how am I going to say that in accounting language? I'm going to say accounts receivable credit. Okay, if I say my cash at bank have been increased, how am I going to say that in accounting language? I would say cash at bank debit. Okay, my cash in hand have been decreased. My cash in hand has debited, is debit. Okay, so either it's a current asset or a non-current asset. The nature or how we show the increase or decrease in these assets about these assets is going to be the same. Okay, we just have two different categories, different depending on the time frames in which they are going to provide us with the benefits. So I guess I'm done with the video. Please let me know if you have any suggestions or anything. If you want me to cover any different topics, I'll do that as well. So in this video I just talked about the assets. In future I'm going to talk about the liability in the same way, and then the income, the expenses, all other elements. I have just covered the one element. I have to cover whole 4 elements in future. Okay, so take care till then. Goodbye.